Hello Nevada Virtual Academy. Here we are doing geometry, right? For the love of it, because everybody loves math, or because everybody needs to pass the proficiency exam or many other exams that will be thrown at you, right? Geometry, which of this is the perimeter of the hexagon? Which one could be? Well, I can guess, but you know what? I can actually find it. And how I can find that? Which way you should go? Well, let's remember, first of all, when you talk about hexagon, right? Well, obviously this is a regular hexagon. And what can you guys see in here? Every sides are congruent to the others, right? So I know all the sides will be congruent. So if I can find one, I will be done. More than that, let's check this, this angles right here, every one of them, okay? This one, the next one, this one, this one, next one, this one. What can you tell me about it? Well, for this hexagon in here, each one of these angles will be congruent to the others, right? And what is the measurement of these angles? How can you find that measurement? Well, for this hexagon, because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 angles, right? Hexagon comes from 6 hex, hexus, I believe, whatever the Latin word was. 6, it means that all the 6 angles, and they're congruent, right, makes 360. So if this angle here, let's say, is A, 6 times A gives me 360, okay? Which means one angle will be 360 divided by 6, which is 60 degrees. So each one of these angles in here is 60 degrees. More than that, in this regular hexagon in here, you will know that this side is congruent to the other side, okay? And as you guys can see, what I'm trying to take you is to the fact that actually each one of these triangles in this hexagon is nothing else but an equilateral triangle. Equilateral triangle. Okay? Where each side is congruent to the other one. More than that, each angle in here will be of 60 degrees. This is 60, that's going to be 60, that's going to be 60, right? Each one of them is 60 degrees. Now let's look in here. They're giving you this dotted line, which as you guys can see is nothing else but the height, the altitude from your, center here, because that's like the center of a circle in which your hexagon is going to be inscribed, and that's perpendicular to the opposite side. If you remember from geometry, in an isosceles triangle or in an equilateral triangle, which is more than that, right? The altitude from your vertex here, well, in an equilateral one, the altitude from the vertex will be a bisector of the opposite side. Well, in this case, it's perpendicular bisector, right? Which means this side here is going to be congruent to that one, and each one of them will be 1/2 of whatever the side of your hexagon will be. If your side of the hexagon is going to be x, this is going to be 1/2 of x. Okay? Good. Now what I know in this triangle here, and let's color it yellow. In this small triangle, I know one side, and that side is your altitude, right? And they said that's 6 centimeters. So here we are. We have a special right triangle. Okay, or let's name it A, B, C. Okay. Now in this special right triangle, well, this is the right angle here. Okay, and this will make this side A, this is going to be C, and that's going to be B. In this triangle, your AC is known is 6. Okay, and that side opposes your 60 degrees angle. This one will definitely be 30. But I can find either this side here, right? Or I can find the longer side, which is actually, you know, this AB is, because this is an equilateral triangle in here, this AB will be actually congruent to your hexagon side, okay? So if I can find how long is this side, that's definitely going to be X, my hexagon's side. And that will help me to find my perimeter, because the perimeter is the sum of all hexagon sides. In this case they're congruent. The perimeter will be 6 times X. Okay. Now I know the altitude here, this side, the longer leg actually, 6. What is the relation between the shorter side and the longer side? Okay. Well, shorter side, which is 1/2 X in the 1/2 X in here, that's, if you know that, you can find the longer side as being the shorter side square root 3. Okay. So what I know now is that the longer side is 1/2 X square root 3. Okay. So I know that 1/2 X square root 3 equals 6. What I need to find? I need to find X. Or I need to find 6X if you want. Okay. So let's find X first. To find X, I need to multiply by 2 to have this 1/2 change into a 1, right? And divide by square root 3. So basically you multiply everything by 2 over square root 3. Okay, so everything gets multiplied by that. And I have on the left side, well, 2 into square root 3 will cancel out. You will have just X, which equals 6 times 2 over square root 3, which is 12 over square root 3. Okay, well, as you remember, we cannot leave square roots as denominator. I will multiply top and bottom by square root 3. So your X is actually what? 12 square root 3 over 3. But we need to find the perimeter. And the perimeter is 6 times X. So I have 6 times 12 square root 3 over 3. Now you can cross cancel here. 3 goes in 6 2 times. And your answer will be 2 times 12, which is 24 square root 3. You guys remember from a previous problem, your square root 3 is actually greater than 1.7 and less than 1.8. Okay? And now you can check. 24 times square root 3, it cannot be 20, right? Because 20 is less than 24. Now, to see which one of these answers here may be the best one, you can check, right? You know, but 36, if you think about 36, 36 is actually 24 times what? 24 times 1.5. Do you guys agree with that? So 24 times 1.5 is actually 36. How can you multiply 24 times 1.5 very quick? Well, you can have 24 times 3, everything divided by 2. 24 times 3 is actually 72 over 2, 36. So 1.5 is less than 1.7, okay? So this cannot be the right answer. How about 124.7? Well, 124.7 is actually 24 times what? Times 5 point something, right? Or times 6. But it cannot be, because square root 3 is between 1.7 and 1.8, and that will be eliminated. So obviously the right answer here is 41.6. You can check, you know, by multiplying and figure it out. But this is, you know, the most important part. How do you apply the 30, 60, 90, you know, properties of your special right triangle in here, and how can you apply the hexagon's properties into, you know, finding the perimeter of this hexagon by just knowing only one of the altitude in this equilateral triangle that is found by dividing your hexagon in 6 congruent triangles. I hope it makes sense. I will see you guys in class today. Thank you.